U.S. debt limit negotiators aren't planning to meet on Saturday, according to people with knowledge of the matter, as the White House accused Republicans of being unwilling to negotiate. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy was spotted walking on the National Mall in Washington and was asked how the talks were going. So he said President Joe Biden signaled earlier Saturday he remains confident the U.S. government can avoid a catastrophic default. Republican lawmakers designated by House Speaker Kevin McCarthy and senior White House officials last met on Friday evening after a Republican walkout with tempered optimism about an emerging deal and drove down stocks. McCarthy said participants took a pause because the White House will not acknowledge that they're spending too much. The White House sought to turn the tables on Saturday with Deputy Press Secretary Andrew Bates saying House Republicans are now taking the American economy hostage and threatening to single-handedly trigger an unprecedented default. So they should come back to the table in good faith. Bates said in a statement, at least one GOP negotiator, Representative Patrick McHenry, a key McCarthy ally, was taking part in strategy discussions in the Speaker's offices Saturday afternoon. He declined to comment to reporters in the hall outside. Republicans in the White House are battling over spending cuts, which GOP lawmakers demand is the price for raising the federal bar and limit. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has said that the U.S. could lose its ability to meet all its payment obligations by June 1st. The federal government's coffers have been dwindling to the lowest level in almost a year and a half, showing how the window for resolving the partisan standoff over the $31.4 trillion debt cap is narrowing. The Treasury Department said Friday it had run through all but about $92 billion, and it's authorized extraordinary measures as of May 17th. Comments by Republicans on Friday also suggested that major hurdles remain. This was a candid discussion about realistic numbers, a realistic path forward, and something that truly changes the trajectory of this country's spending and debt, said Representative Derek Graves of Louisiana, McCarthy's hand-picked negotiator. Asked if he's confident the parties would reach a deal in time to prevent default, McHenry said no. Biden, who's meeting with other world leaders at a group of 7 summit in Japan as the debt ceiling deadline inches closer, downplayed renewed concern at the end game in Washington may fail. But not at all, he said Saturday in Hiroshima when asked if he was concerned about the state of the talks. Negotiation go in stages. Biden said, adding he still believes we'll be able to avoid a default and we'll get something decent done. The debt limit fight, which could trigger a first-ever U.S. payments default, threatens to inflict pain on the global economy and has shadowed Biden's overseas trip. The president postponed travel to Australia and Papua New Guinea to return to Washington for the final stages of negotiation, cutting short a trip designed to advance Biden's goals in living of better sides or Biden of countering. Biden said he was sorry for the postponement. I truly apologize to you for having me to come here rather than me be in Australia right now. The president told Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese at the G7, we have a little thing at home I got to pay attention to.